This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
We have a lot of additional employees that are going to be requiring a lot of revenue in the future that are middle management, and I think that money is better spent on infrastructure at this point in time.
Help wanted at Sarasota City Hall, but some commissioners say growing government isn't the answer for a growing city. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on the new hires at the city of Sarasota in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. On this very day, the NFL is telling its players not to take a knee during the national anthem. Students in Manatee County are asking the school board for permission to do just that. The current code of student conduct says students must stand during the national anthem and Pledge of Allegiance. But last week, some students joined activists to protest at district football games. They believe the school board should be allowed to allow students to take a knee during the national anthem.
Basically, it requires students, if they're 17 or under, to get their parents' permission before they opt out. State statute does back up the fact that students should stand for the Pledge of Allegiance unless they have an opt-out letter from their parents.
We'll have more on the NFL's move today in primetime headlines and more on the Manatee situation coming up tonight at 11. Fees are being waived in Manatee County for homeowners and businesses needing to make repairs after Hurricane Irma. Manatee County commissioners voted to waive permitting and floor plan management fees. The fees will also be waived for any other storm-related damage for the rest of the year. The repairs need to be validated as storm-related. News tonight about the damaged Venice Pier. The Venice City Council is hiring a contractor to do some repairs to the pier so it could be reopened for the tourist season. According to engineers, loose decking needs to be replaced. The pier may need to be rebuilt at a cost of $700,000. The temporary repairs could take at least 10 days to complete. A month later, they are still picking up the debris from Hurricane Irma in Venice. The city says it has picked up 561 tons of debris so far. All of the debris on the island has been removed. The communities of Pinebrook and Roberta will begin the cleanup process today. In Northport, the city says it is working to clean up smaller roadways. A terrible accident in Sarasota today. The accident involved 2 vehicles on US 41 around 9 o'clock this morning. 71-year-old Stephen Witzer of Sarasota was killed and 88-year-old Graham Hillebrand was injured. Police say Hillebrand took a left turn at the intersection of Fields Road into the path of Witzer's car. And the arrest has been made in a Sarasota shooting. The sheriff's office has arrested John Slattery for the incident Sunday night. Deputies say they first responded before 9 p.m. after a woman called 911 from inside her home. Upon entering Slattery's home, deputies discovered rifles and odor of fresh gunpowder, and Slattery barricaded inside the closest closet, refusing to come out. Detectives found methamphetamine inside the home. Democrats in Tallahassee are discussing a number of proposals dealing with hurricane preparations and the recovery from Hurricane Irma. More than a half a dozen bills are being proposed, from everything from employees from being fired for skipping work during emergencies to requiring generators at doctors' offices and new regulations at nursing homes.
It's events like this that sometimes shake us at our core, raise awareness, and hopefully compel a bipartisan effort to protect, as I said, these most frail, most vulnerable individuals.
Sponsors hope the legislation will be heard by the House's newly created Select Committee on Hurricane Response and Preparedness. Bob, anything out in the tropics these days?
No, not for us. Something way out there in the Atlantic we talked about yesterday. Ophelia could become a record, too. Set back in 1893 when 10 hurricanes consecutively occurred. I don't know who was counting them back then, but we have a lot more sophisticated equipment. No, I don't know who was doing that. 1893, that's right. That's a long time ago. 84 degrees right now. We have some clouds that have moved in. The heat index has dropped. It was at 98 degrees. That's what it felt like at 3:30 this afternoon. Dew point is at 72. We have an east wind at 11. We had nearly a record high today. Missed it by 1 degree. Our actual high was 92 degrees. Hey, typically it's 86. That's for a high, so we're missing the fall here. and it's not going to be changing much throughout the next couple of days. A few brief showers are around, cooling things down near Northport and also into East Venice. You'll see that light rain shower there, but most everywhere is staying dry. A little brief shower near Longboat Key, and we'll see similar conditions again tomorrow with a few pop-up showers late in the day. Not much to them in terms of lightning or anything like that, but that'll change by Friday, though. We are going to look at a little bit better chance for some showers and thunderstorms to move in. It's associated with this, which you see moving over the Bahamas there, just north of San Juan. It looks rather ominous on this satellite loop. Looks counterclockwise swirl, but that's in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That's a low pressure up there. And for a hurricane or tropical system to form, you have to have the winds going the other way. So that's a good sign. There's a chance it could work to the surface. That is going to bring us a little bit better chance for some showers over the weekend. We'll talk more about that, Alan, in a little bit.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, the city of Sarasota added more jobs, but not everyone is happy about it. Stay with us.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and no one should fight alone. I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, we'll tell you about Team Tony, a Suncoast-based charity that pairs a cancer fighter with a cancer survivor. Cute and cuddly puppies will be here, and they need your help to find good homes. Plus, golfing communities in Suncoast for sale, and new restaurant Bravo Coastal joins us in the kitchen.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
If you have Medicare, I have 3 things you'll want to hear. There's an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana. It includes Medicare Part D prescription drug coverage, and it may save you money in so many ways. It's all in this book, and it's yours free just for calling. You'll see all the ways the plan might save you money, even on prescription drugs. In fact, last year, Humana Medicare Advantage prescription drug plan members saved an estimated $6,500 on average on their prescription costs. And you get all this coverage with an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. Even if you've looked at Humana before, you need to take another look at this plan. We'll send you the decision guide absolutely free, in a slightly smaller size, of course. Discover the all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan that could cut your costs and cover your prescriptions. Call 1-800-824-8241 or go to humanabigbook.com. The savings are too big to miss.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and 3-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-307-2040 now and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you the #1 mistakes retirees are making with their investments today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-307-2040 to have your free information kit rushed to your door. Again, that's 800-307-2040.
ABC7 News at 7, weeknights.
Either it's a good sign the city of Sarasota has recovered from the financial collapse in 2008 and can once again afford a department to plan growth, or it's just growing government, and we know how many of you like that. The city is adding 19 new positions, among them 3 employees in the newly reinstated planning department. ABC's Bobeth Yates has more.
With many developments like this one popping up all over the Suncoast, the community has been asking for oversight. And now they're getting it in the form of a new planning department. But those new jobs are causing some concern.
We have a lot of additional employees that are going to be requiring a lot of revenue in the future that are middle management. And I think that money is better spent on infrastructure at this point in time.
Commissioner Hagan Brody is among those voicing concern about the growing number of Sarasota City employees. The city added 19 new jobs for a combined yearly net cost that exceeds $1 million. Among them, 4 police officers, 7 maintenance and utility workers, a homeless coordinator, and several new planning department jobs.
I was sent to City Hall to really bring some fiscal responsibility to the budget process, and I just was disappointed in this budget because I don't think it emphasized those things enough.
Brody says the 3 planning department positions are causing the biggest concern because they equate to more than $285,000, adding to the already $224,000 being spent on planning services being performed by outside vendor Urban Design Studio. But while the planning department positions are under scrutiny, supporters say without them, there is no way to address the area's development problems.
When you have somebody coming in proposing a development, they're going to impact everything in our community.
Sarasota Commissioner Jan Ahorn Koch says for years development in the area has occurred almost haphazardly, with many developers not taking into account those impacts she referenced, and instead helped to create what some call a traffic nightmare and negatively impacting residents' quality of life, which Koch says a planning department will help restore.
Our community wants sidewalks that they can walk on. We want to have multimodal. We want to develop multimodal and other forms of transportation, but you can't do that without planning, so you have to have a planning department.
The 3 planning positions are part of the city's strategic plan, which also includes bringing the once dissolved planning department back to life. About 7 months ago, the city hired this man, Stephen Cover, as its planning department director.
To not have a planning department in a city, particularly a city that's growing this quickly, I really think you're missing an opportunity to have some direction with that development and what happens here in the city. Once again, if you're not proactive in staying ahead of the game, I think you're going to wind up with a lot more problems that maybe even exist today.
And Cover has already begun the process to bring in new staff. 3
new positions. One of them is Chief of Transportation Planning, which will be the lead on this transportation master plan. There's also a transportation planner who will be working underneath that individual. And then the 3rd position is a senior planner position in our long-range planning division that will be focusing on affordable housing.
Cover says their top priorities include a comprehensive traffic plan, something that has not been done in the city in over 20 years. But that plan goes beyond just studying the problem to include solving it.
And ultimately, this plan will have an implementation component that will identify what projects and what order need to be done and at what cost. So it won't just be a plan sitting on a shelf.
But while the city's new planning division tries to create a city-wide standard, the costs associated with the department and its staffers remain under fire.
I think we're 2 steps ahead of where we should be. You know, I understand that we need to grow as the city grows. But we need to let the revenue that is naturally going to come to us, we need to let that develop more.
The City of Sarasota's new budget went into effect on October the 1st. It's also important to note that despite the increases for the new jobs, the overall budget did go down because of savings in other areas. Bobeth Yates, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Coming up, the pros and cons of Sarasota City budget when we convene at the Trapezoid.
Are you getting the most out of your Medicare plan? Are you sure? Many people with Medicare are eligible for plans that include extra benefits in addition to those found in original Medicare. Benefits like dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage. Call now to see if you're eligible to enroll. The consultation is free with no obligation to enroll. In addition to hospital and medical coverage, at no extra cost, you could also get coverage for prescription drugs, dental, hearing, vision, and more. In many areas, plans with benefits are available with $0 copays for many services, $0 monthly premiums, or $0 deductibles. That's hospital, medical, prescription drug, dental coverage, and more included in one plan with premiums that may be as low as $0 a month. Call now to see if you're eligible to enroll. The consultation is free and there's no obligation to enroll.
Call 1-800-620-2254. That's 1-800-620-2254. I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-652-3012. That's 1-800-652-3012. Call now 1-800-652-3012. For a free brochure, call 1-800-652-3012.
Christmas Traditions by LuxArt Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by LuxArt Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Investment to make sure our growth in our beloved paradise of a city is well planned when it comes to transportation, traffic, and zoning. And joining us for more is former Sarasota City Commissioner Susan Chapman, Zach Murdoch of the Herald Tribune, and Kathy Antunes, host of The Detail on WSRQ Radio. Thank you all for joining us. Former Commissioner, let me start with you. Because Bobeth said something really important at the end of her story there, that despite these hirings, the city budget has actually gone down this year. But still, there are a lot of people you could imagine who are watching this right now who will say no to any kind of new city spending, to which you say what?
Well, I say let's talk about the city of Houston, Texas, that doesn't have any planning at all. And look what happened in Hurricane Harvey. There was so much concrete that the stormwater they did have wasn't absorbed. We already have that problem as well in the city. And the citizens are clamoring for better planning of buildings that are being built. They think it's important to our identity as a city not to be totally paved over. And we are a very vulnerable area, and we need planning, we need transportation planning to keep our quality of life in this city.
Zach, you covered that hearing recently. How contentious did it get?
Well, I don't know if you could call that contentious relative to some city meetings, but there was definitely some clear division among commissioners at the very final stage of the budget, which is a little unusual. You know, in the budgets that we've previously covered, that Ms. Chapman was a part of, at that point, you've gone through hours and hours and hours of discussion about this. Generally speaking, the commission's pretty much on the same page. That was definitely not the case. The mayor in particular and Commissioner Brody, that was in the report earlier, made very clear that right up until the very end, they had serious problems with those hires, and that definitely added a kind of strange twist at the end of a budget season.
Kathy, you are plugged into these debates there. You know, where was the mayor and Commissioner Brody coming from in terms of that? Have they always been raising questions about you know, any kind of new spending?
Well, you know, the budget, balancing the budget's very important, and taking on new future liability. I think there's concern about long-term pension liability in the city. However, I have to agree with Commissioner Chapman that we have to plan appropriately, and we haven't had a planning department. It was really the recession that created the budget cuts. And for a city of this size and importance, I think we need to be proactive. The planning department as it exists has basically been reactive and putting out fires. They don't have the manpower to plan effectively. So I'd say I disagree with these commissioners. We need it.
But also that was in Bobeth's story, Commissioner, that, you know, we've had almost a duplicate kind of system here, because we outsource some of the the planning. So some people may be watching this right now saying there has been a component of urban planning around here.
Well, we've had some urban planning, but we haven't had urban planning that is making a difference for the citizens. When we went through the recession, we actually put a building official in charge of our planning department. And that building official looked at success at 8,400 building permits a year, not what the quality of the building is, the architecture, how it fits in the urban scape, all of those issues that are so important in planning were ignored. And when we get right down to it, Commissioner Brody, when he campaigns, didn't understand the importance of a planning department. He thought we shouldn't have one.
Okay. We are just getting warmed up on this discussion. We'll have much more on the return of the building department, the planning department, after we look at your first alert weather, so stay with us.
Funerals can be emotionally devastating for a family to go through. Besides the sorrow, loved ones are left with the decisions and the high costs of arranging a funeral. That's why Funeral Advantage was formed. They've helped thousands of people between the ages of 40 and 85 protect their families when they need it most. It pays your loved ones up to $20,000 cash immediately.
It's a good feeling to know that my family will be taken care of if anything happens to me.
It's so easy. Just answer a few simple health questions.
Funeral expenses continue to rise and can easily cost $9,000 or more, but the most government benefits pay is only $255, leaving your loved ones the financial burden to pay the rest.
This is so affordable, even for someone like me who's on a fixed income.
If you're between 40 and 85, get your free Funeral Advantage Guide. Help keep your family financially protected with up to $20,000 cash immediately. Call the toll-free number on your screen to get your free information guide. Funeral Advantage is something we'll all need. There's no risk or obligation. Don't put it off. Call now.
Call 1-800-897-0900 now to get your free planning guide. Get the facts about how easy it is to protect your family. Call 1-800-897-0900. Don't wait. Call now.
What if you had a medical emergency away from home?
My chest hurts. I can't breathe.
What you need is Mobile Help, America's premier mobile medical alert system. Most systems only work at home, but with Mobile Help, you get help outside the home with coverage nationwide on one of the largest cellular networks at the press of a button. Call the number on your screen for a free full-color brochure. We'll send you everything you need, including this base station, the patented mobile device, and the waterproof pendant and wrist button. You can also add the fall button that automatically detects falls and signals help. Call today and receive a risk-free 30-day trial. There is no equipment to buy and no long-term contract. For a limited time, you will also receive a free emergency key box with your plan purchase. Remember, Mobile Help keeps you safe coast to coast.
Call 1-800-916-8638. That's 1-800-916-8638.
Our conversation on the Sarasota City budget continues right after we get a final check on the first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Well, Alan, this is the Casey Key webcam. It was put out of commission by Hurricane Irma as it went on through, but now it's back up and running. We're making some good video right here, time lapse showing you what's been going on since about 3 o'clock this afternoon. You'll see in the last few frames there are some showers off in the distance, moving away from the coast. And not only did Irma cause damage to the camera, it also caused a lot of damage to the avocado industry here in Florida as a result of the strong winds across the entire peninsula. Right now, nothing like that going on. We have this easterly wind flow, which is bringing a few brief showers now and again. There's some dry air in the upper levels of the atmosphere, so these showers that have been popping up on 90-degree temperatures are continuing to move off to the west now. That heat will generate a few isolated showers again tomorrow as well, but we're not going to see that sea breeze effect where it would cause a lot of storms to fire up and we get a lot of lightning strikes. We're not seeing that tonight, and I think that'll be the case tomorrow. Some showers down near Jacaranda down east of Venice. It's heading toward the island. You can see the activity is not all that strong, and there's not much to it as it makes its way to the west at 15 miles an hour. Forecast through this evening calling for warm temperatures up until 11 o'clock. We'll see upper 70s. The high today was 92 degrees It was a hot one. It has cooled a little bit. 84, the current temperature at the airport. A few clouds around, residual clouds from these showers that have been popping up here and there. And the dew point 72. Winds are out of the east at 11. The pressure 29.99 inches. And the high, there it is, near record high, 93, the record set back in 1962. Normally it's pretty nice, usually into the mid 80s for high temperatures. We're not going to see that for some time. There's no cold fronts that are going to sweep on through and chill us out. Rainfall today, no rain to report officially at the airport. There was a brief sprinkle there earlier. Just 0.08 of an inch of rainfall so far at the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport. Wednesday's forecast, another hot one with high temperatures in the low 90s as a result of some strong east winds, and those east winds always have a tendency to warm us up here. We don't get the benefits of the sea breeze. Tomorrow, similar conditions, 1 or 2 lone showers in the afternoon. Here's a frontal boundary moving across north central Florida. That's a cold front. It comes down and just kind of gets hung up right there to the north of us. We'll see a few isolated showers again on Thursday afternoon, not much, but then all this moisture will move in on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And when I say all of it, it's not going to be a washout, but we will see increasing chances for showers and even a few thunderstorms as we move into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And looks like Monday may be in a chance as well. Out in the Atlantic, there's a tropical storm, soon to be hurricane, we think, Ophelia out there. Interesting to note that it has developed really far north and well to the east. So you don't normally see that in October, but this has been an unusual season. It has indeed, and it looks like it will be developing into a hurricane. Has an opportunity to be the 10th hurricane of the season in consecutive order, too. This is looking rather ominous on the satellite imagery. We'll have to watch this. Right now, the Hurricane Center not too concerned because it's an upper level feature, but to the east of that, there's some pretty good convection developing outside of that dry air as it makes its way to the west. The tropical storm Ophelia continues to move off to the southeast and eventually toward Portugal in time with the possibility of it becoming a hurricane. Let's get to the marine forecast for boating tomorrow. Looks to be okay. East winds turn to the north at 10 knots. We'll have a light chop out there. Water temperature still warm, 85 degrees, UV index at 10 tomorrow. Lots of sunshine and heat. Low tide upcoming at 10:14 for Sarasota Bay. Sunrise will be at 7:28. Tonight, mostly fair. There's an isolated shower chance, but most areas staying dry, 73 for a low. Tomorrow, the rain chance still very low, 20%. It will stay hot, though. Highs in the low 90s, and it feels like temperature in the upper 90s. The extended forecast, well, there it is. Increasing chances for showers and scattered storms as we head into the weekend, and then a slight chance on Monday. Alan will be back with his guests right after this. Stick around.
Listen to this important message. If you owe money to the IRS, you will want to hear this. Penalties and interest compound daily on your back taxes, putting you under a mountain of debt. Tax 10,000 has years of experience connecting people with tax resolution specialists. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, they will handle all the necessary forms, and if you qualify, you may end up saving thousands of dollars. Call Tax 10,000 at 800-817-1064.
Mom, thank God you're going to be okay.
So relieved. But you both should know when my time comes, I have a final expense policy with Senior Care USA.
Is Senior Care USA the life insurance policy that helps loved ones pay for funeral expenses and other debts? Bill and I called to get more information.
Yes, and there's an immediate payout of up to $50,000.
If you're over 50, call Senior Care USA now to learn more about final expense insurance plans.
There's no medical exam, even if you have a pre-existing condition like I do. But when I called, the quote was free, and there was no pressure.
I found out that policies start for as little as 35 cents a day. Rates will never increase and coverage won't decrease.
I'm going to call today.
Ask about the free prescription discount card. Oh, I'm so glad you'll be taken care of.
Call 1-800-975-0536. That's 1-800-975-0536.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. Medicare's annual election period has begun. If you already have Medicare, new benefits may now be available with no copays, no deductibles, or $0 premiums. Call now to speak to a licensed insurance agent who can help guide you step by step through a free analysis of the benefits available to you. And you may be eligible for plans that even include additional coverage for dental, vision, and prescription drugs. MedicareAdvantage.com searches thousands of insurance plans from leading insurance companies. We'll help you find plans that may cost you less, cover more benefits, and give you more choices, like home delivery of your prescriptions, gym memberships, and even over-the-counter allowances for everyday needs, like antacid, allergy medicine, vitamins, and even toothpaste. Don't miss the deadline to enroll. It's time to get more out of Medicare.
Call 800-314-8605. That's 800-314-8605. 800-314-8605. Call now.
Welcome back. We're talking about Sarasota's new $202 million budget, specifically almost $300,000 for new positions in the city's planning department. Joining us for more is former Sarasota City Commissioner Susan Chapman, Zach Murdoch of the Herald Tribune, and Kathy Antunes, the host of The Detail on WSRQ radio. Like everything in whether it's city, county, state, federal government, there is politics here. The interesting thing, part of this, Zach, is that Democrats rule basically in the city of Sarasota. So are you somewhat surprised that that at least some of the commissioners are talking about being fiscally conservative here?
Well, given the last year of the local political debate, let alone the national one, and even at the state this spring, I'm not totally surprised by that. In a lot of ways, it's just kind of a function of the campaign that you all had this spring. It was that was basically every conversation we had at all of those commission candidate debates. But I do think it also reflects a little bit of what local officials often have to do, particularly if you want to continue in politics locally in Florida. I mean, to be in the very Democratic city inside of a largely Republican area, I think there is a lot at play there, politics-wise, about how you would want to try to handle city finances, perhaps with an eye to other things and wanting to have that kind of a record like we've talked about.
And Kathy, you do have a lot of older retirees in the city of Sarasota who are the folks who rail against everything that's happening in Washington in terms of spending.
Well, and I think, the greater point is value. Yes, people want to make sure their money's spent wisely, but for us not to have had a transportation plan for 20 years is ridiculous. And those things, you can't just pull them out of the air. Expertise, a good spend on expertise brings a return on investment to the city. And I think city voters appreciate that. Certainly neighborhood advocates that I speak with, that Susan references, see the quality of planning has deteriorated and we want to see it improve.
Susan, we have recovered somewhat from the financial collapse in 2008, but there are still big financial concerns here in the city of Sarasota. So why not be concerned about growing salaries and personnel while there are these other problems?
Well, first of all, the planning department was decimated during the recession. And we had more than 770 employees during the height before the recession, and we're still 100 employees down from that figure. So it's not like they're going out and doing crazy spending. They're doing things on improving quality of life, on responding to organizations such as STOP that always has these enormous citizen meetings where citizens are saying we are being overdeveloped without adequate planning. The goose that laid the golden egg in the city of Sarasota and this area is making it an enjoyable place to live. And when you're stuck in traffic for an hour and a half on the John Ringling Bridge, it is not an enjoyable place to live anymore. And those are things that are visiting us now without an adequate transportation plan, without an adequate plan for what is being built now. In terms of Democrat versus Republican, we have developer Democrats and then we have planning Democrats. These are the developer Democrats that are raising their voices because they think they're destined for higher office.
But still, Zach, there are other budget busters that Sarasota has to deal with, including the pension fund.
Certainly, yeah, the pension fund is one of them, and what you'll often hear the mayor and Commissioner Brody speak about too are some of the things kind of down the line, the to-do list, so to speak, of a lot of the various projects. We're in the heat of the beginning of the Bayfront 2020 project that's going to turn into the Bay Cultural District, something that Susan has talked a lot about financing on, that the commission is only just now going to be able to get a glimpse at. That's one of those really, really high dollar price tags that they're going to be looking at down the line, let alone some of the changes they're currently considering to that OPEB trust fund.
But here's the thing, it's crucial to get that project right, because if that project is done at a high quality, walkable development, the return in terms of taxable, the tax revenue to the city is going to be a terrific return on investment, not because they're a high tax city, but because they're creating value. And I think the View is a building that people, it's kind of a poster child right now for the concern about planning. We talk about being a walkable city, and the ground floor of the View was a tremendous opportunity to create some retail on the bottom that would have made things better.
So how does this all work? Let's say you now have new employees at the planning department. Some are dedicated to traffic, others building code. In and of itself, is that enough there to better manage the growth in the future?
Well, a lot of the developers who come into town, when you look at pictures of their projects in other cities, they're a lot better projects. We haven't insisted on quality in the city of Sarasota. And so the question is, are we going to have the kind of staff that insists on quality? Stephen Cover has an excellent reputation, an excellent history on great planning and great transportation planning. And he says he needs this staff to move forward to make Sarasota a better city. Now, what Zach talked about is this is about values. Are you really saving money when you reconsider giving free dependent coverage to your retiree dependents? We as the city commission and the last city commission said, no, we need a step away from giving free dependent coverage to people who are retired. That's an $8 million hit that these same commissioners who are objecting to $300,000 are all in favor of changing.
Zach, what kind of awareness is there within the city council now in terms of what that ticking time bomb may do to the city?
Well, there's a bit of a balancing act there in that there are some of these very, very big numbers that play out over the next few years, but you also compare that with what we at the Herald Tribune called the billion-dollar boom of the thousands and thousands of units in development that are happening downtown. And often the disconnect with folks out in the community and the people in the city planning department or county planning department is that as those projects rise out of the ground, no one is actually collecting any money on those until they're ultimately issued a certificate of occupancy, for example. And so there is roughly a 2.5 year delay between a building that you see existing in the flesh on the street to money on the tax rolls. And what you'll often hear at the city and county all over this area is that this crazy boom we see in development now doesn't actually translate to millions and millions of dollars in tax revenue until you get into 2020 and 2021.
Kathy, in terms of what we're talking about here, you so often hear people complain about the affordability of living in Sarasota and the traffic and all of that. Is there any realistic hope that having this new planning department is going to have an impact on what people see as kind of like a snowball, coming down the mountain?
See, I think the key piece is transportation. And Steve Cover, our new planning director, is well versed in how to create what's called transit-oriented development. Basically, if we have the ability to move through public transportation or biking or walking in addition to the cars, but if we can reduce car trips, we can create more affordable housing or access to areas that are affordable where people can come down and work in the city. Right now, the city really does not have a good transportation plan, and it's hurting us.
And in addition, when Steve Cover came, on his resume is an affordable housing plan that he actually drafted and completed and executed in another city, including a transportation plan and a form-based code. So he has done all the things that the city needs. He has done them in other jurisdictions. So that's what we have to do, is give him the staff in order to implement those plans.
All right, we have to take a quick break and we'll return for final thoughts in a moment.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-628-1251, 800-628-1251.
If anyone depends on you, listen to this important message. 3 out of 4 Americans know they need life insurance, and many who have it know they don't have enough. Sound like you? How would your family get by without you? Would they lose their home or their dreams of a good education? They don't have to. You can guarantee those you love $200,000, $500,000, $750,000 or more with life insurance through AIG Direct. We're part of AIG, one of the world's largest insurance organizations, and we'll help you get more for your money, up to 70% more. Just look, less than $14 a month buys a 40-year-old man a $250,000 term life policy. That's up to 3 times what you can get from other companies for the same price. No wonder millions of people worldwide rely on AIG companies. The call is free, the quote is free, and there's no obligation. Get the protection your family needs through AIG Direct, a leader in insurance.
For a free quote, call 1-800-620-6355. That's 1-800-620-6355.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Welcome back. Our guests join us right now for final thoughts. So, Susan, do you think that the mayor and Commissioner Brody made their points, and now we turn the page and the planning department can do what everyone hopes it will do?
Well, with the city commission, everything is about 3 votes, and so they lost. And whether they make their point or not, or try to create controversy or not, this plan is going forward, and it's what the citizens of this community want. So it's going forward because it got the 3 votes. The budget was passed, and this is all a matter of values. They didn't complain about the police officers. They didn't complain about the parks people. When you're dealing with police officers, the legacy costs are much higher than planning department people. So it's about where their values lie. And their values aren't with planning and transportation planning and the things that citizens think are important for day-to-day living.
Exactly. It seems like the push and pull in terms of the pro-development and the pro-control crowd, it continues with the Sarasota City Commission.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that'll always be a perennial debate. And now that we've gotten through some of this planning stuff in the budget process, I think it'll be a relatively quick turn right over to the new form-based code that the Urban Design Studio folks have been working on, which is just kind of a behemoth of detail that they're going to have to continue to comb through, and there's going to be a lot of input about those very things into that new code.
Kathy, you take calls from the public every day on issues like this. Where do you find most people at when in terms of planning and city spending?
I think people have seen projects that really concern them. You know, I've talked about the view. We talk about wanting to be a walkable city, and people appreciate that the built environment has a huge impact on our quality of life. We need good transportation options, and we need walkable development, and we need affordable housing. We've hired a great planning director. We need to let him do his work. He can't do it by himself. So we need these people to join in.
We will have to leave it there, but before we go, we want to say a few words about last night's topic, the Equifax data breach. The lasting impact of the breach will be years. 145 million Americans were affected, 44% of the U.S. population. Information released includes your Social Security numbers, driver's licenses, and credit card information. So we asked you for your reaction, and Paul says Equifax insecure systems allowed hackers to steal the information of 145 million Americans, and the IRS rewards Equifax with a shiny new $7.25 million no-bid contract. Simply disgusting. Stop doing business with Equifax. Find and punish the hackers. Lisa says not sure there's much that can be done about it unless many things go back to being done on paper instead of electronically. As long as everything is done electronically, everyone is vulnerable. And Guy says, what are you going to do? Get a new Social Security number? The toothpaste is out of the tube. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions. They're on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We want to thank our guests for being here tonight, former Sarasota City Commissioner Susan Chapman, Zach Murdoch of the Herald Tribune, and Kathy Atunis, host of The Detail on WSRQ Radio. When we return, we'll be joined by Jerry Zivick, who will speak about ticket bots, plus the feud between President Trump and members of his own party. Stay with us.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
Do you have type 2 diabetes, which requires daily blood monitoring? If you have diabetes, are you on Medicare, Obamacare, or other health insurance? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for diabetic testing supplies at little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. Our accredited staff will handle all of your paperwork for free. And best of all, your diabetic testing supplies are shipped directly to your home for free. Call now to see if you qualify for a meter upgrade and a free pedometer to monitor your daily walking. Use alternate testing sites, a smaller blood sample, and even hear your results out loud. Will you qualify for diabetic testing supplies and an upgraded meter covered by Medicare, Obamacare, or health insurance at little to no out-of-pocket cost to you?
Find out for free by calling the Diabetes Resource Center at 1-800-394-1098. That's 1-800-394-1098, 1-800-394-1098.
All hands on deck. What's up? I want to point out 3 tips for using the home computer more safely. Point away.
First, stop. Make sure your software is up to date and that you've password protected your computer's login and Wi-Fi connection.
Next, think before visiting a site, opening attachments, or clicking on links.
Then connect, knowing you're helping make the web safer for you
and for everyone. Make Stop, Think, Connect part of your daily online routine.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but first, ticket bots are computer programs that quickly buy up the best seats so the tickets can be resold elsewhere for more money. This can make it difficult for us to get seats at your favorite sporting event or concert at an affordable price for activities like, as we said, concerts and sporting events. And here to help us figure it all out and how to get tickets and cheap is consumer watchdog Jerry Zivick. First of all, when we think about bots, we've actually heard a lot about them in terms of the big investigation into the 2016 presidential campaign. But Jerry, could you talk about what really is a bot?
Well, I think you summed it up. It's a computer program that's designed to get tickets at lightning speed. I mean, we're sitting there click, 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 and they're getting hundreds of tickets in a time we're going click, 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 and we have to go through verifications, and the ticket bot has the ability to bypass those verifications as well. So what happens is they're getting these untold numbers of tickets, and they give them to resellers, and these resellers are selling them for an extraordinary amount of money. I've seen some figures that say that reseller business is an $8 billion a year business.
And this is why I can't get tickets to the Springsteen concert.
That's correct, but it's not the only reason. There was an investigation done by the New York Attorney General that said a little bit over 50% of all tickets are held back. They're held back for friends of the cast, or for sponsors, or for whoever they want to give a comp to. So that's the other reason.
The obvious question is this legal?
Ticket bots are not legal. Congress passed a law in December of 2016 saying that they're no longer legal. The problem is, who's going to enforce this? Jurisdiction is given to both the FTC and the state attorney generals to enforce anti-ticket bot laws. So here this went into effect in January. It's now October. I haven't heard of one case where a ticket bot person has been in trouble.
And just so people know, when we're talking about these bots, not to digress into what happened during the political campaign, but it can be used for whole sorts of different things, like getting a candidate getting their message out to many people very, very quickly in different ways.
Exactly, and you can get a message true or false out very, very quickly too. This actually goes to what we were talking about last night too. I mean, this is an endless slippery slope on trying to protect it.
So how do you get around this? How do you, even though these things are out there, how do you get that ticket to the concert or to the football game or the baseball game?
Well, there's a couple things you can do. You could do something the old-fashioned way. You could actually go to the box office. Sometimes tickets are held up for the box office, and you don't have to pay any fees. You can become familiar with the website where the tickets are sold and be familiar with it so you can move through more quickly. You can follow the actor or the play to see if they're offering any pre-sale advantages. Credit cards give advantages too, special seating, things like that. And if you're using a reseller, what you can do is you want to hold off as long as you can. The sweet spot seems to be in the last 48 hours before the concert or play, because this is a perishable item and they need to sell this ticket. And if you're going with 7 or 8 friends, be willing to break this up and sit one seat at a time, because it's much easier to get one seat versus a bunch of seats
That's
together.
a little counterintuitive, because usually we jump on these things and when they're sold out, we give up.
That is correct, but as I said, after the concert, the ticket has no value. So the longer you can wait, in theory, if nobody's purchased it, you're going to get the best deal.
Okay, Jerry, thank you. Jerry Zivic joins us every other Tuesday in your For Your Benefit segment. Stay tuned. Our primetime headlines are next.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
Do you worry about going to the dentist? What I really mean is, do you worry about how expensive going to the dentist can be? After all, dental bills can be pretty scary. A visit to the dentist could easily cost $1,000, $2,000 or more. Well, relax. The Carefree Dental Card is now available in your area. Call the number on your screen and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree Dental Card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. Call the number on your screen and we'll send your card with your name on it. Activate your card and you can start using it immediately. You can even see the dentist the same day. From exams and cleanings to more expensive procedures like crowns, dentures, even braces, they're all included with the Carefree Dental Card. Just show your card, save your money. Say you go to the dentist today without any card and your bill is, well, ouch. Wait a minute, let's try that again. You go to the dentist today and you show your Carefree Dental Card. You save $525. Now that's much better. The Carefree Dental Card is just $15.95 a month. Just $15.95 a month, and everyone in your household can use the same card. So call now and make going to the dentist carefree.
Call 1-800-976-6335 now to receive your Carefree Dental Card and free plan information. Plus, see how you can also receive vision and pharmacy benefits at no additional cost. Call 1-800-976-6335. That's 1-800-976-6335.
Checking our primetime headlines, the battle between President Trump and members of his own party continues. The president continuing to attack his Secretary of State and a Republican senator. ABC's Karen Travers has more.
Right now, it seems like President Trump is juggling multiple feuds with a cabinet secretary and a senior Republican lawmaker. But the White House says everything is fine and the president's agenda is not in jeopardy because of some pointed jabs on Twitter. Oh, to be a fly on the wall at the White House. President Trump sitting down for lunch, no reporters allowed, with Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and Secretary of Defense James Mattis. Less than a week after Tillerson, when given the chance, didn't publicly deny a report that he called the president a moron. The White House says it's all water under the bridge.
He has full confidence in the Secretary of State. They had a great visit earlier today.
But what about that interview with Forbes magazine, where President Trump dismisses Moron Gate as fake news, but says, quote, "But if he did that, I guess we'll have to compare IQ tests, and I can tell you who's going to win." Again, nothing to see here, says the White House.
The president certainly never implied that the Secretary of State was not incredibly intelligent. He made a joke.
Sarah Sanders also facing a barrage of questions about the president's very public feud with Republican Senator Bob Corker. In a stunning rebuke, Corker told the New York Times the president's threats toward other nations could set the U.S., quote, on the path to World War III. Sarah Sanders says Senator Corker's entitled to his own opinions, but not his own facts, and defended the president as, quote, an incredible leader on foreign policy and national security. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Police now say the Las Vegas killer shot a Mandalay Bay security guard before he began firing onto the country music festival crowd in Las Vegas. Clark County Sheriff's Department says the security guard was investigating an open door alarm on the 32nd floor. Authorities have said Paddock began shooting from his Mandalay Bay hotel and casino room at 10:05 p.m. and that he continued firing for about 10 or 11 minutes. A Texas Tech University freshman accused of killing a police officer on campus has been arrested. Authorities were checking on the welfare of 19-year-old Hollis Daniels Monday night when they found drugs and drug paraphernalia in his room. Daniels was then taken to the police station on the north side of the campus for questioning. Investigators say at some point Daniels grabbed a gun and shot the officer in the head. Daniels was on the run briefly. The NFL is changing its stance on players taking a knee during the national anthem. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell sent a letter to teams saying, "We believe that everyone should stand for the national anthem." Goodell also says sports can bring together a divided country, especially the NFL, at least for a few hours. This comes less than a week after Vice President Mike Pence left a game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Indianapolis Colts after our players took a knee during the national anthem. Hillary Clinton is speaking out about the alleged misconduct by Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein. In a statement, Clinton says she was shocked and appalled by the revelations about Harvey Weinstein. Clinton also says the behavior described by women coming forward cannot be tolerated. Their courage and the support of others is critical in helping to stop this kind of behavior. Weinstein is a longtime associate of the Clintons and a major Democratic Party donor. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us, and have a good night.